Welcome back to the Sly Guy TV. You're watching the Sly Guy, Kaboom, Kaboom, and Super Kaboom, oh yeah. Kaboom, oh yeah, Kaboom, oh yeah. Here we go, It's a blue, it's a deck. It's the not so turbo Stasis deck is right here. It does not have howling mines, but I will add time elementals to it. Time elementals to this big mono blue. I have offended you again. So I guess this is the end, because everybody knows you're such a snowflake and you're just quite upset at every single thing we said. Everybody knows it's all just in your head. Wasted, feeling no one speaking. You know why you've crossed the line when I said that you were mine. Going skiing, no hard feelings. Since you will not be my girl, this is the end of my own. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Sly Guy TV. You're watching the Sly Guy. Check it out, man. Stasis Mono Blue is what we're going to be talking about right now. Actually, the deck uses counter spells, and it didn't actually have Stasis before. I just put Stasis in it because I'm planning to rebuild my classic Stasis deck from years ago, and it shall be added into the deck really soon. And we're gonna be posting an update after January the 15th, so that you guys will be able to see the brand newer version, which has Kismet, which has Forsaken City, which has Dromer's Cavern, the dual lands. So it'll have everything that a Stasis deck needs and loves, and it will also have Power 9 included in this Stasis build. So what is Stasis? This used to be a jank card that also nobody wanted to use, just like Necropotence. But when people saw the power of Turbo Stasis way back in the 1990s, and with Ice Age released cards like other trash cards like Despotic Scepter, which destroyed your own permanents, and people laughed at it, people saw nothing but potential with the card. Because Stasis, combined with Kismet, locks your opponent down. Hold on, let me just get Kismet for you. MTG Kismet. There it is. I've got 4 copies of Kismet with me right now. There you have it. So Stasis, players do not get an untap phase. Pay 1 blue during your upkeep or Stasis is destroyed. All cards still do not untap until the next untap phase. Kismet. Artifacts, creatures, and lands your opponents control come into play tapped. So this is a lock. This was one of the very first lockdown decks in old school. People who played Type 2 who was going against Stasis was in for a very long game, because Stasis would lock down their lands, would lock down their permanents, and they just sit there as the Stasis player would just constantly draw cards and then discard cards, and then they would be permanently locked. Now, Stasis also combined with cards such as, yeah, let me just get Forsaken City. There we have it. Later on in Plane Shift, they printed a card known as Forsaken City. Forsaken City does not untap during your untap step, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may remove a card in your hand from the game if you do untap Forsaken City. Now, combine these with Howling Mines, which make you draw additional cards. And you had a land which could constantly pay for your Stasis. So you discard a card or you exile a card from your hand, and then you tap it, pay for Stasis, exile, pay for Stasis. Your opponent was initially locked down. While you get to play lands on tap, you get to play your threats. And what, pray tell? What was another combo with Stasis? Time Elemental. Once you got the 6 mana, instead of exiling cards with Forsaken City, you can now just bounce Stasis back to your hand. And during upkeep, bounce it back to your hand instead of paying for it, return it into play, and when all your lands are untapped, then during upkeep, bounce it again, return it in before the end of your opponent's turn, bounce it, untap everything, replay Stasis, bounce it, return, and then when you have 2 time elementals into play, you can begin bouncing your opponent's permanents back into their hands. So you could clean the board with a time elemental and with Stasis, and this particular lockdown deck was extremely nasty. So that's how I plan the deck to look. That's how I plan the deck to be in the near future. And right now, we're going to show you a very quick video of our Stasis deck, the current build of Mono Blue. So, once again, this is my video, so I won't be copyright striking myself. So there you have it. There's the Stasis deck right there. As you can see. So 4th edition Stasis. Now, it also uses counter spells like Remove Soul to counter creature spells and lock them down. Nev's this to wipe the board clean, which is there in any big blue deck. Actually, the card, the odd man out in this deck is Stasis. It wasn't supposed to be in the deck, but since I got a playset of them, I just, let's add them anyway and see how they go. Tim is there. Prodigal Sorcerer. Timmy the Sorcerer. You guys haven't subscribed to Timmy the Sorcerer yet. Your Boomerang. Your Boomerang is a pivotal part of the deck as well. You have Spell Blast. A 1-mana Spell Blast can counter a Mox. And a Black Lotus. Really handy, especially in Vintage game. Oh, and Unsummon. Not too many people main deck Unsummons, but I do because Hypnotic first turn Hippie Dark Ritual can be a nightmare for a blue deck. That's why I use Unsummons in a Hippie heavy meta. Because nothing hurts a blue player more than a first turn Hippie Unsummon that immediately slams the brakes in their strategy. So of course it has islands. You've got basically a lot of islands right there. You've got your Stasis. I was also going to be adding Black Vice, but since it has Nev's Disc, I just put the Black Vice in my Black Vices in my mono red Anxli deck, as it fit the theme perfectly. This deck looks to control. It's like draw go. Draw, play a land, go. Draw, play a land, go. Power Sync to shut them down in case they play a big Sarah Angel. Power Sync, and then once they're locked down, I play a Stasis. And then lock them down for the next couple of turns. Especially after a big spell. Nothing shuts them down more than Power Sync. And of course, counter spell. Pirate Ship is right there to ping opponents' creatures. In fact, this deck went against the mono white deck I showed you guys earlier, and it just obliterated it. The Orders, the Savannah Lions, did not stand a chance to the pingers. Armageddon and Wrath was just countered constantly by the slew of counter spells. And Nev's Disc, if he managed to get a bunch of Orders into play, Nev's Disc wiped the board clean of any threats. It just wiped everything clean. And there you have it with the Stasis deck. Yes, double back here. Again, there you have it. The ultimate Stasis lockdown deck. You're going to be seeing the completed deck in the next few weeks. And once again, this is the Sly Guy with the Sly Guy TV signing off right now, yeah! Here we go! That's the way to counter a first turn Hippie. First turn Hippie that will make them cry when they try, and then they move in eye. And then now the Stasis deck is here to stay. I have offended you again, so I guess we